All right, welcome everyone. We are Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Hibike Euphonium, Season 1, Episode 3. We figured out our instruments, and Kumiko is using the euphonium.
Yep.
It blew us away there, but you know, that's the one she's got.
Yep.
And she has also managed to figure out that Kosaka isn't mad at her.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It was a small thing that happened a while ago, and for the most part, Kosaka's not the kind of person also that's going to be very emotionally expressive. So I don't think she's going to externalize any of this necessarily to you, even if she did feel anything like that. But based on our observations, I think you're good, Kumiko.
Yep. Seems like you're in the clear. Yeah. But we also got the vote. Do we have fun and just enjoy our time here, or do we go for nationals?
Do we take this seriously,
Yep.
or do we not? And the fact that they voted publicly, and the fact that certain people basically got the potential of being shamed if they voted no after the majority of people voted yes in the beginning, even though it wasn't really everyone. There was an enormous number of people that just didn't vote at all.
Yep.
So,
but peer pressure,
peer
it's
pressure.
a thing. Vocal minority and all that stuff. So here we are.
Yeah. So our girls are going to be learning how to fit in with the band structure and
with their fearless leader Asuka in their little department.
Yes, exactly. But also figure out really what they're really going to be putting into this, because I could see this being a thing where, because of I believe it was Shuichi, Kumiko's childhood friend, being the one that voted no.
It wasn't
whole thing.
It wasn't Shuichi. It was Aoi. Aoi. AOI was the spelling of her name.
Oh, we don't even have her in the the notes here.
Yes, but that was the two childhood friends. Shuichi's the guy.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So my bad.
Right,
yeah.
but yeah, she got her alibi.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of setup to where you have we saw them doing their welcoming performance there.
Yep.
And apparently it was really bad. Really bad. So them going for nationals, and last year it was not something that was
kind of a joke,
reasonable for them to go after. Just because, someone like Kosaka's here, does that mean it's necessarily any more attainable?
Right.
Probably not.
And how will the social dynamics between all of the students play out when that bubbles up to the surface?
Exactly. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. I feel like that little intro blare of the instruments bit is something I've heard before.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like it's either something that's popular beyond the show, or that just sound in general is something that I've heard through something just that was referencing the show.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was popular, because most of the songs that they're going to be doing, I can imagine, will be things that will be very popular.
Yeah, things that we could know, basically, with no connection to the show. Yeah,
right.
But this OP, I've no memory or recognition regarding it in general.
Right. Maybe the part at the beginning when they were was them playing something that they'll eventually learn to play in the show.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Breathing, that seems important. Elementary, but extremely important. I like that they're respecting the fact that there's going to be a lot of sound created by a bunch of them, so they're in different, wildly different sections. 3-3. Yeah. No, you're blowing out too much.
Yeah. Just because your instrument's huge
doesn't mean you need to blow that hard. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah.
Don't worry, a lot of that is the case, you know. Glorious.
それにする？欲張りだね。いろいろ見ていいよ。
After all, Tuba-kun needs to be perfect.
Here it is.
これにします。
The monster.
Good, because that might be the only one we have.
目があるの。目？名前。ジョージ君でしょうか。
George could.
Wow.
Oh my god.
チュパカブラにしよう。
Chupacabra! Like the chupacabra!
いいですね。去年1年で。
Oh. I think she experienced the it fits perfectly in my hands kind of thing.
合奏できるクオリティになったら呼んでください。
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Who decides that?
Yeah.
そうですね。じゃあ海兵隊でどうでしょう。
Okay, so
Okay.
he chose something for them. Nice.
滝先生ってイケメンですよね。そう？
そんなのどうでもいいだろう。
っていうか。
Stay focused.
サックサク。誰だったの？自ら手で
I love these snappy little interactions. They're moving along through them quite quickly.
Wait. Is she supposed to take her instrument with her? Or is she just planning on practicing at home?
I guess she's planning on practicing at home.
誰もコンバス始めた頃は指が
Oh yeah.
I can imagine.
いつも持ってました。
Yeah, the big calluses.
ってなるよきっと。
What's that thing?
Yeah.
ほら2年生少ないのかな。え、
Oh.
やっぱりそうですよね。
Gotcha.
Dang. They tried to go to nationals last year and it was a bit out of their reach.
また UFO じゃん。吹かないでよ、うるさいから。吹かないよ。使うの1年ぶりだって言うからちょっと綺麗にするだ。
Okay.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough.
音出た。そしてこれが柔軟。これ
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I've used like basically that exact
Uh-huh.
not model but brand and everything to her and stuff.
My little sapling.
Right, right.
まあまあ大丈夫大丈夫。
Oh.
1年が気にすることない。
Oh.
Huh.
That reaction was so like quick from all of them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
ゼロ。
Yeah, they're not even practicing.
Yeah.
今から。いやでも。
Oh, this is good. Getting to
Yeah.
this already.
すぐに。
Okay.
Well.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
よろしく。
And that was just them tuning to the
Uh-huh.
same.
Yeah, yeah.
最初から一度通してやってみましょうか。
they're
Oh,
not
some of them
doing
aren't even
anything.
playing.
Yeah.
はい、そこまで。
Yeah, yeah.
何ですか？
Saying that with a smile on his face.
Yep.
ティーになったら集まってくだ
But
さい。
that's not why we brought you here.
はい。
しかし各パートあまりに欠陥が多すぎてこれでは合奏になりません。毎日
All have.
ただダメだった
Wow.
そうですか。わかりました。トロンボーンの皆さんはこのメトロノームに合わせて最初から吹いてください。いいですか？
Wow, one section at a time. So,
はい、そこまで。
Yep, yep.
皆さん、この演奏を聞いてどう思いました？他のパートも同じだと思いました。
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
あなたたちは全国に行くと決めたんです。
Oh. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
私の時間を無駄にしないでいただきたい。
Please don't waste my time. Well said.
フェスティバルの曲は
あなたたちはそういうことを気にするレベルにはありません。
Good.
Okay.
Good. Nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, but he told it to him straight with no.
できた方がいいよ。
Uh-oh. Here comes the
Wow.
social stuff. Yep.
出るんだしさ。パートリーダー会議で話したらいいんじゃない？よっしゃ。じゃあそういうことで。
It's,
She's a good number 2 there.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
ホロンちゃん。
Oh. Never. Never
It-
lucky.
just like their luck, you know, with the wind ensemble.
Yeah.
届かなくても。はい、行くよ。
You'll be among the stars or something like
They're
that.
already abandoning her.
Uh-huh.
帰りましょうか。
No.
だいぶ
そうすげえや気あったらしいんだ
And because no one else is being passionate
Yeah.
about it. Yep.
生と衝突したら
Oh, those people are
Wow.
gone now.
Law of attraction, one way or another.
Uh-huh.
そりゃそういう先輩もいるけど
Gotcha, because they
今
were
日の練習後
they were actually some of the ones that stuck around.
ホルンとかまともに
Yeah.
練習してるとこ
Cool. I like this. I like this social dynamic. This is awesome. It's very different from a team sport kind of
Right.
kind of thing.
去年みたいなのは今年はないって思ってたんだけどな。あれ
Asuka,
Yep, yep. Uh-huh.
that point with the two fingers. Yeah.
明日頼むね、パーリー会議。お任せください。
Uh-huh.
部長の注意。
Oh.
All my training has prepared me for this moment.
Right.
アディオス、アミゴ。
Adios, amigos. Oh my god.
Wow.
練習が始まるんだろう。どこかでそんな風に楽観していて
Yeah. Was met with reality. Yep.
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
パートリーダー会議が終わるまでは練習は休みにす
Oh.
ることに。本当にごめん。
Okay. This could be the beginning of the end.
And Kosaka behind her.
するべきかを決めるまでは練習しないと言い出したらしい。
And she would have been one of those
Oh, yeah.
people that would have quit, you know, if that was the kind of thing that they were dealing with again.
みんなが同じ方向を向いてみんなで頑張らなきゃ
Right.
意味がなくて
Showing teams, yep. What about you? Yeah.
Yeah.
どれ
It's Kosaka, isn't it?
高坂さんだよ。
Yep.
Yeah. Ah. Ah, that sounds so good.
Yep. Hibike. It's like her proclamation to the rest of the school and the club and everything.
Ooh.
That's like both challenge and inspiration.
Yeah, it is. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Let it out.
Yeah!
That was so cool. That was awesome. Way to go.
Oh!
次の曲が始まるのです。
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Fantastic.
That was awesome.
All right. Okay, the social stuff that went on there. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this because it translates so well into certain situations that I've experienced, but in a completely different style because an ensemble basically of musical musicians basically like this never experienced that in my life. But there's other areas where you get this exact same type of dynamic.
Yeah, and I feel like
It just has a different
right, it has a different energy to
Flavor,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And with music I feel like because they're playing from a sheet, like in other situations like with like sports or things like that, you can still definitely tell and it's still a total problem.
Yep.
But it's not as like concretely the other people cannot
Yep.
do anything if you're not doing it because
exactly.
because you're going off sheet music. You can't have, you'll still sound like shit if someone else is doing it badly.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
All
That was
right.
a fantastic episode.
That was wonderful. I loved
So
it.
good.
I loved it so much for various different reasons.
Yes,
Like
yes.
I feel like now we've really started to tease apart a lot of the different characters, right?
Yep.
Especially with Kosuka, I feel like, because we got
Yeah.
that initial very aggressive introduction of her character in the flashback.
Yep.
But we didn't really get to see that since then. And seeing that it's like, even though, we knew that that part of her hadn't gone away or anything,
Yep.
getting to actually see how it gets displayed now
Right.
in this environment where that's how she felt about a dud gold way back when. That's where everyone was, maybe not everyone was practicing like for nationals. They didn't necessarily think it was going to
No,
go
but
that
I assume
far.
they were better than this.
Right, they were
ensemble
actually
is.
trying.
Right.
Now in this situation, no, a bunch of them are just not even bothering, right?
Right.
And
Oh my god, this is so perfect. So one of the things that I didn't really think about before getting into this show, but I think I've now realized something that I'm just gonna get really excited about. I love ensemble casts.
Oh,
I've said this many times.
You do be like that, don't you?
And this is literally a cast ensemble.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
the wind ensemble. Yeah, it's in the name.
The freaking thing there. Yeah,
Right.
Roll credits. Yeah. So this is something where we can get into the social grouping dynamics of expectations being different,
Right.
when yet are still people going after the same skill related thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I think is just ripe with potential here, is that Kosaka, for one, is one of the more competent, quiet archetype characters.
Yes.
However, Kumiko, for instance, is also one of the quiet, competent type characters in a different way. And those two are already set up to have some unique kind of parallel character development, but we have just in their main four group here, two other characters that have very, very different approaches to this whole expectations thing. You have which one is she? The Sapphire, Kawashima Midori. She is the one that shoots for the moon.
Yep.
She goes big. She dreams big. She believes, and it's all wonderful. And she's so petite and wholesome, and you know, playing the contrabass of you know. But when she sees like how this whole dynamic is going, she kind of brings it up like, oh yeah, I noticed this thing. Oh, everyone tenses up. And she's immediately like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Did I say
shouldn't
something
have said
wrong?
that."
Yeah.
There's this thing of when you have all these people in a group, even if everyone in the group is amazing, wonderful people, you're going to end up with divisions that are based on all kinds of really annoying, repetitive things about humans that we're never really going to overcome, especially once the group reaches above a certain number.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Given that they have around 30-ish, didn't they say something like that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Something like that.
Yep.
They're about 2 times above that number of where things hit that critical mass, where things start to get a little weird. I have seen so many times in different setups where once the group reaches about 15 people and they all are coming together for some kind of specific thing, if there is any breakdown in the reasons why they're there, that little bit of animosity and stuff like that of you're not putting in everything, or you're not coming at this for the same reason, you're dragging us down, or you're putting too much passion into this.
Sure.
Oh my god, the drama.
Yep.
Oh my god. And we haven't even been introduced to more than like 10 characters really in the ensemble. There's a couple that are unnamed as of now, but are starting to
and the fact
be a little bit more recurring in their interactions and stuff.
Right. And the fact that we get to focus on the base section means that we don't necessarily even need to go into all those characters.
Right.
But we're aware of the social dynamic within the Wind Ensemble Club as a whole, and that's kind of just sort of mass characterization for the nameless, faceless characters, right?
Because there's history here.
Yep,
there is time that exists beyond our main character's scope of perspective here.
And that makes it worse, but even if there wasn't, there would still be this dynamic, right?
Yes,
because some of them really want to go to nationals and some of them really
don't care at all.
Don't care at all. They're here to pass the time at best, right? It's the instruments looked pretty, why not? I'll say, yeah, I did band in school.
It's kind of the same reason why Kato Hazuki came in as well. This is something I just wanted to switch things up.
Yep.
I wanted to try something different.
Exactly.
And, some of the other, characters might have come in because they're like, some of my friends, we all just chose a club together, and this is the one we picked, and no, we're not serious about it.
Right, and in Kato's case, one of the reasons that I think it works really well, apart from her just being a really high energy person who will give her all, and sometimes that even makes it worse in the case of the breathing exercises. She also had a bunch of friends with her that were passionate about this, right? Even if the passion wasn't the same as hers or the same as Kosaka's, for instance, they still have it. And then, of course, they're also with Asuka. So, I doubt Asuka would, suffer someone
that. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
She would win them over with the power of her charisma.
Indeed. Yeah, with a hair flip and everything. But, this is starting to happen. And my closest experiences to this, because you probably have a bunch of experiences with this with sports and things like that. And
there's a lot of group projects and also workplace dynamics that get into this as
group projects.
I've experienced this in school. I've experienced this in the professional environment multiple times, and I've experienced this in the rec sports league environment. And it is an undeniable truth that once you get a group of people all putting their energies together towards something, and the group's number goes beyond what a single person can realistically lead, which I love that they had a little bit of this episode focusing on the leader,
the club president.
Leader.
Yeah.
The club president.
Right, and it's just that she's trying to do the best she can, but there's only so much she can do because she can't actually force these people to practice. And then, the conductor comes in, and he's like, what is this?
This is hot garbage.
Right.
I'm sorry. Do not waste my time.
Right. And he's, being as polite as he can about it.
He is, but he's being also
but he's
realistic.
He's not hiding the truth, right? He's communicating clearly, which quite frankly is what a lot of these students could use, right? Both communication to them, but also them themselves communicating. Kumiko is a great example, right?
Yep.
Her sister, I love that this happened. It was so brutal. The fact that human civilization just happens in general and that we're not all murdering each other, that is, it's impressive. But when she goes home and she's got the youth, she actually takes it home to practice, right? Now, yes, with her classmates, they couldn't exactly, maybe they could, but it'd be very difficult to take their instruments back home because they're huge, right?
Right.
But she brings this back, she's all ready to practice, and then immediately just, don't play it here, that thing's too loud.
And it's
instantly just, I remember. So I took a single music class in college at one point, and it was an elective that I had to take because I had to have an elective, right?
So you just chose this.
So I just chose this, right? Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'll take piano and work on playing anime soundtracks, right? Like see if I can do any OPs or EDs that I really like.
Yeah.
And I remember being so nervous to actually play the piano where other people could hear it. Sure. That I was so glad they had these basically soundproofed rooms. But even within the soundproofed room, I was still I'm doing so bad at this. I don't. Maybe the people in the rooms directly next to me could kind of hear me just absolutely sucking.
All they heard is
right. But so I can only imagine what it's like in a home, especially when it's the older sibling and it's just the even if it wasn't saying don't play that,
Yep.
Even if it was just the general negativity.
Yeah.
God.
So I just got to say, there's a lot of things that I'm really thankful for in general, but one of the ones I'm very thankful for is we had a very, very gracious, patient family just in general. Because we had a drummer.
Yes.
In our house.
And this was not an electric drum where you could put on headphones.
We couldn't afford
acoustic.
They couldn't the family
no way.
Electric drum. No, we borrowed basically drum set, from other people. And he brought it back and he started off yeah, and it was okay, he's learning how to hit the snare and keep a 4 count and all that, and the hi-hat and everything, and then it was all right. Now he
bang
has
those cymbals
to go crazy, and the cymbals. Oh my god!
Yeah,
and then it was.
Yep. Oh, and by the way,
oh my god,
we didn't just have the one brother, because the
No.
one brother then taught the other brother, right?
Yep.
And
so about an hour to 2 hours every day for about maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Drumming was going on.
Suffice
in the
to
house.
say, we would not have been able to do a channel back then.
No,
You know.
no, but that was a long time ago. Long time
But
ago.
one
I
of
was
the
in
things-
high school at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really cool about that, though, is that because several of our siblings basically and us all tried out different instruments,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But actually, the people that were the most serious about it were the ones that were playing the drums, right? Like,
Yep.
Like I tried the guitar, and
Same.
immediately was like, yeah, that whole callus thing.
Yep.
No, it didn't really seem to happen for me. It just killed the skin on there, but no build up. But probably because I wasn't practicing very much, because
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, a couple of them played the piano and things like that, but it was sort of the thing of like, okay, well, do we really want to do this, So in a situation like this where it's like, oh yeah, you have to, one, practice even when you're not at school, and there's the whole family thing there, but also you've got a bunch of people that are perfect strangers to you, and your hard work only means, anything if they put the work in too.
Yep.
That's
I can't wait to get in depth into this, but I just wanted to quickly bring up the dynamic of she actually is in an apartment and can't probably within probably the lease play the instrument actually in the apartment either.
That's a good point.
I think what she was probably hoping to do was to get there, play it quietly as she could because the sister wasn't there, so at least
to practice
no one,
the timing and things like that. And
yeah, just because it's also like it's an instrument it's an old one, so she probably wanted to feel it out and stuff. But the sister kind of being there and no, I'm immediately shutting down any potential low likelihood that you can even get away with it.
Yeah,
because
she didn't even get to practice with it once before her sister just
right. Because I'm guessing what there also probably is something where the apartment probably has certain hours where it's okay to do louder things.
Sure.
So maybe it's just
during the day kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but
if she
then
gets
she's
home
probably
from
at
school quick enough, she can do that. And this was just a really annoying thing in that regard. But God, okay. The social dynamics of people having expectations that aren't being met. This ties right back to the thing with Kosaka in the first episode.
Yep.
But the one I've experienced primarily is I've been both the person that berated the people who weren't taking it as seriously, but I've also been the person who was lazy and specifically put in the bare minimum, but was stubborn and wouldn't put in any extra when I was confronted with it. So I had in Frisbee the moment where I was the one basically wanting to do extra and stuff. And my captain specifically started to notice that there were a few players that would show up for seasons and they wouldn't show up again. And these were the really good players, the people that were of the top 3 or 4. If you were to put me in the group of 15, I would be 7 or 8 or something like that. I'd be right in the middle, and there'd be people that come in who would be obvious 1s, 2s, and 3s, and they would leave within a season or two because it's oh, you guys aren't as serious and stuff. So over the course of time, the captain was like, hey, let's try and make there be more emphasis on improving our skills in general. And I was really excited because I was like, okay, sweet. I would like to improve my skills, but I also want to help the team get fired up about playing more. And when I showed up to the practices, it was...
not received well?
No, it was not even really a practice. It was so here's an example of what I'm talking about here. You know how they're being asked to do breathing exercises here, right? That's a good first-time starter thing for the first years, right?
Yep.
They wouldn't ask the third years to do breathing exercises. No.
Maybe just oh yeah, help show the first years how it's done, or warm up in case I don't know.
Exactly. But do you remember how the conductor said, if you're not ready to basically get into the practice thing in a week, we're not doing this. Now they're going for nationals, right?
Right.
But imagine if 3 or 6 months later, they were still doing breathing exercises.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We basically had practices that were where they would show up and it would be like, let's work on everyone's stamina so that we can run a little bit faster.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, excuse me? Like, if they're not taking care of their own, like, just basic ability to run, and stuff, like, we're here to play Frisbee.
Yeah, it's the try and helping people do better without making it so that you're just not even doing anything and just, sort of walking with them.
Right. It's the selfless aspect of when you're in a team dynamic and you have people that are newer. A lot of the people who have everything kind of, for the most part, figured out with regards to the basics need to step down and basically help bring up the other people who aren't at that level yet. But
if the people don't want to step up,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the expectation put on the team as a whole was that we were going to get better at Frisbee. But it was the thing of, no, the practices were just in general we're not actually going to get better at Frisbee as a team. We're going to focus on a couple players who aren't really willing to put in actually that much of the effort.
Right, and then you're not getting anything out of really going there because
So I stopped going to practices. I
get that. It's my only experience with it really is something very different, but it's D&D basically.
Yeah.
I've been in quite a few different D&D groups and had fun with quite a few of them, but there was a point where I was like, okay, I don't want to play D&D just to like have fun playing this wacky game. I want to like try and get in character and do narrative stuff and work with the other players and things like that.
You want to play with people that are more passionate about it than you are.
Exactly. Or at the very least, and usually that would be a good way to get a read on that would be how interested are they in seeing what the other people bring to the table, versus just being like, I have a really cool, edgy backstory for my character. Let me tell you all about it. Or even worse, I'm going to spend 30 minutes talking to an NPC about it, and you don't even have a way to,
and they're there for them, not for the group.
Right. And that's why it was so awesome when I found a D&D group that was comprised of a bunch of drama nerds, right? Because they were like, oh yeah, you want to do character stuff and whatever? Like, yeah, there's the game aspect too, but you want to role play? Let's do it. This will be great. Yeah. And it was like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, they're a good group. Yeah.
So I totally get where Kosaka's coming from. Far be it from me to say that I'm that level of competence at something, maybe D&D if you measure that or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But to have that
I think
burning
the
desire
and the passion.
The burning desire while being generally the person that's quiet and not very expressive. Like that's pretty much me. And it usually wouldn't be something where I would have the level of like kind of insecurities as like Kumiko, but if I wouldn't really know how to talk about that kind of stuff. So I just want to do my thing, you know. So her doing that both inspiration and declaration of challenge to the school and then giving her barbaric yop into the sunset, right? It's like, yeah, you go. And maybe that'll work. Who knows? Because
hopefully.
But the whole idea of the people that were really passionate and then they just sort of leave because they realize this is the wrong place for it. That happens and it sucks. It's why at the jobs with the 3-month turnarounds for employees.
Oh my God.
The people that stick around the longest oftentimes are not actually the best employees, unless you're talking about that one old dude that keeps the whole place running on his elbow grease.
Yeah.
But like, so yeah.
Oh my God. That was a real thing that I experienced as well. Was I was in a work environment. I can say the place. Yeah, sure. I'll say the place. I worked at Best Buy a while ago. And one of the things that I found out rather quickly at Best Buy was that it was a very stupidly easy job. Like there's no skill required to do almost anything at the job at the entry level. And I was looking at the sales positions and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, what's expected of you to do these things?
What's your quota is kind of a thing.
Yeah. Basically, how can you succeed as a salesman? Because I'd never done a sales position in any way. And this is a retail store, so sales, it's not even really sales.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyway, thing was that I was in more of the clerk position where it's like, nothing is expected of you. Absolutely.
Just be a body
zero.
and stand there. Yeah.
Then there was a point when our team leader brought in this new thing because Best Buy was like tanking. You can look at the stock price of Best Buy, and that point where it was at the lowest, that's where I worked there. So it was really stressful at this one point when the team leader comes in and gives all these expectations to the clerks. And there are people that have been there for like 15 years. 15 years as a cashier. Let me tell you how eye-opening it was for me to talk to people who did not have any expectations for this job and yet were perfectly comfortable staying exactly there. Like they were not in the like I'm dissatisfied with my job. They were not in the I am really happy about my job. They were just even keeled. Lovely people to talk to. But there was a moment when they realized, oh, this expectations thing doesn't really fit in with my current thing there. And there was a moment when they kind of all had a little bit of a talk behind the manager's thing of stuff and like that, and be like, let's just not do it. Let's basically, as a group, just kind of go and be like, no, this doesn't really fit in this environment. And he's like, they'll move it around. He's like, I've seen them do initiatives and stuff like this in the past. It won't work. And something competitive in me rose up.
Something, like, this is an opportunity.
Something basically in this whole thing was like, wait a minute. No, this is literally my in to get out of this.
To outshine.
Yeah, because I wasn't trying to think about how I could be better than them, but it was that if I did this really well, this really mundane task of just, this is so dull, I could get something potentially more interesting out of it and then also make more money if I was in sales. And I just tore the numbers apart. And I'm kind of tooting my own horn here with this, but but any one of them could have done this. This was not a really hard bit of expectations put on them. But it was that moment of where once I started doing that, they started looking at me different. They started going like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, the other, not the manager, but the other
employees.
People. Right.
There was one guy who I told you, I think actually back then, he was this kind of middle-aged dude, and he was actually really chill. And he was like, hey, you know what, dude? Go for it. You know? Oh, my God. It's something else. But basically, once the expectations had been set and moved up a little bit, the group formed a faction and basically kind of together agreed we got to do something about this conductor, basically. Like the way the group kind of went into the leader, like, you need to talk to them. Who does he think he is? Coming and stuff and putting all these expectations on us. I'm like, you literally agreed to be in the club that would go to nationals earlier by not voting. And you could have said no. You could have raised your hand and said no. Like the amount of oh my God, the way
you don't have an alibi. You know,
exactly.
Like,
that's why I loved the way they set that up in the previous episode. Because I knew this kind of thing would happen.
Oh yeah,
and here we are.
And I love that this.
And it's not resolved either. Could get worse.
And I love that this cute girls doing cute things about music, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's the whole, like, because there's the whole idea of, okay, in the cute girls doing cute things, how much of it is actually them doing the cute things versus being cute?
Yeah.
And in this situation, yes, the music is a big part of it, but in a sort of tongue-in-cheek way, there's not a lot of music going on, you know? Like,
nice.
and
what you're saying, yeah.
I like how this dynamic's playing out because there's this slow burn tension, basically, that they can have here. And whether or not they go to nationals, who cares? How long it takes for them to go to nationals, who cares, right? I don't know how many seasons it would take for, them to get there. Given, the pace, I can't imagine they'll get anywhere close to nationals in this season. Right. Maybe not even by the end of the second season. But, this is, I love this conflict. I love it. It's just, give me more.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I can't wait to see and probably be introduced to the characters that are I am not a second year. I'm not a third year that's dutiful and basically survived the previous, iteration of the school, last year's ensemble, or so they were the second year equivalents for the last year's first years that quit.
Right.
I would very much like to see those students kind of pop up and go, yeah, we're gonna make our own little faction group in this whole thing here.
With like specific names and faces to
Like not necessarily getting as much characterization as our main cast.
For sure,
but having basically the protesting towards what the conductor is bringing up. And I'm so excited for that.
What's funny about it is that this whole situation comes about as a result of the lack of willingness of certain people to put in effort, right? And then the people that are most willing to put in effort will be the ones that will most quickly also change things to be more to their liking. So if they can't do anything,
because they care the most.
Because they care the most. So if no one's doing anything, then they'll leave, right? And then these people that have been taking on the passive approach for so long, rigorously, and why would they leave? Because the passive game seems to be working, right? They're getting more or less what they want out of it.
First years, though. That was my thing. Because remember, there's no second years. There's a lot of first years and then a lot of third years.
Gotcha.
But she was basically saying that there's a whole year of people that are gaps within regards to this. So the people that are the first years are ones that this is their first time in the club.
Regardless of what they want, it's their first experience with it.
Right. So they don't necessarily have any grand background in this whole field and stuff like that.
And then with the second and third years, was it something where the people, because I believe it was something where the people that were passionate ended up leaving, but...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, I believe that's what it... I believe that's what they were saying. Did I make a insinuation that I was saying that the people that weren't
I wasn't sure
quitting?
If that's what you were insinuating.
I might have accidentally kind of flipped my words a bit there. What I was bringing up was that the third years that stuck around are the second years of the previous year, so they are the ones that at the very least, care enough to stick around, but also aren't, I don't know, they're not necessarily savants or anything like that.
Well, yeah, you've got the people like Asuka and the president, who very much care about this, right? Because it's not going to be a clear split of everyone that cared about it leaves and everyone who didn't care about it, didn't leave or something like that, right? But that there is that schism, and there are enough people that are still here that do care that it is a known problem.
Yeah.
And it's not something where just all the people who didn't really care leave and then we'll have to figure out how to do all over again, but in a better way, maybe what happened in the previous year.
Right, because people that are skilled but aren't necessarily as passionate or what have you could stick around because they don't like quitting, but they also might just have that kind of funk of like, I don't know if I can really try because all the other people that really put in their effort to try left us with all these people.
Right. So then it's
don't vote and
and then it's doubly disheartening. Downward spiral. And how do you get out of this? Yeah. Well, maybe we need some some chipper, full of energy young girls to come into this and maybe possibly help. Yeah. Maybe it won't go quite that way. But
Kosaka's way of doing this being one to process for her, which I really like it as primarily a way for that because she's alone. She's not doing this so that everyone will know it's her. While a couple people should know that it's her because they actually got to hear her play the trumpet that one time in the ensemble. This is something where she's alone off in an area near the school, so people will hear it, but I think it's more for her to let out her frustrations of, oh no, am I going to go through this whole thing again like I did, back in that little scene we saw in the beginning of the first episode.
But worse.
But potentially even worse.
I'm curious. What was the section that they said never even bothered playing? Was that the trumpets?
They didn't say a section never even bothered playing.
No, but there was a section where they were like, I don't think I've ever heard this section even practice.
Oh.
And they showed Kumiko went to get the instruments and
It was the horns.
the horns. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I was gonna say, if that was the trumpets and Kosaka was the only one, that bothered practicing and then does this, that would.
So if it's basically there's a group that hasn't, I don't remember any dialogue that went into that. But we're gonna practice together. Can you go get the horns? She goes down there,
Right.
and they're
like
playing
doing
a little
like
social game, or
Yeah.
what have you.
Thumb war, something like that, or I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, never have I ever, some equivalent or
Right.
whatever. And
Yeah.
I, if anything, during the ensemble bit where they were playing, there was a group that had basically some kind of flute-like instruments. They never played.
Right.
They never put their lips to their instrument, basically.
Yeah.
You can see them here, and once everything starts going,
Yeah. They just stop. Yep.
yeah.
Oh man, I really love how that whole scene was handled with the conductor coming in, because I can't imagine how frustrating it also must be for him when he's like I've worked with students that are
Yeah.
really passionate. I know there are some really passionate students in here,
Right.
and this is happening.
And this is also not a very difficult
Right.
thing there.
There
And
not
there's-
much is being asked of them, kind of a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is a difference that you can tell in someone who's playing an instrument badly but is making an attempt versus someone who is playing an
Right.
instrument badly and is not really making an attempt.
Right, because effort you can at least try and direct, right?
Well, you can also hear it. You can literally like perceive it.
Well, yeah.
With music instruments.
Well, you
yeah.
could see with Hazuki when she was red in the face, because she's trying to, blow as faster or as hard as she can or whatever. And it's okay, you're doing it wrong, but
Right.
But A for effort. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas if the person's just sort of sitting there, no, it doesn't work.
I
yeah.
am very interested to see where Kumiko falls in this in the next couple episodes because she is a reluctant protagonist.
Right.
And
that
that is a very interesting dynamic to have, given that there are kind of 4 main characters, even though she is the main protagonist.
She's definitely the main protagonist, but there are some very much not reluctant characters nearby. And I'm very excited to see how they influence each other. Because after that performance from Kosaka, I would love it if sister comes home one day and she's playing and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing? It's so loud." And she's just like, "I need to practice." Or
Deal
whatever.
with it.
Right.
Tosses some headphones at
Yeah, in her own way, because of course,
family
Kumiko isn't going to turn on
dynamics.
a dime or anything like that. But
Right. No, of course not. Yeah.
the idea that Kosaka is sort of set up as this not really rival, but sort of like the foil, I guess, like the opposite. I'm really excited to see how they interact.
I see them as way more similar in a lot of ways. I actually think that part of the thing that makes Kumiko kind of want to mend things with Kosaka is that she
knows there's some common ground,
well, not only that there's potentially common ground, it's that like Kosaka is perfect. Like there's this you're amazing. Like, you know that? Like,
Yeah, you were playing for nationals when none of us were. Like
she's been thinking about this thing that she said to her all this time. That's because she cares so much about what she said, not because of the self-conscious thing of I made a mistake and made it goofed up, with the way I communicated. But it's this girl's amazing. She's so good at this. She's so passionate.
she's not reluctant. She cares regardless of what other people
I
think.
wish I could be like her, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Asuka, yes, she's Asuka, but that's a different kind of thing.
Right.
Whereas this, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I wonder if I could be like that.
Yeah, I definitely see it a little bit more as they're actually only like 2 degrees off from each other, so it's more of like they're this kind of difference instead of the 180.
Right, polar opposites.
Or even like a 90 degree. It's like there's a lot of similarities. It's just a question of, with regards to insecurities, where does it come out? And I think we saw Kosaka's here in that she needed to go off alone, play her instrument, do the thing that she's good at, but then let out her frustrations, which is I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
So good. But y'all, all right. Great episode. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yes, so we stream Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Mondays, we do podcasts. Tuesdays are One Piece dramatic manga readings.
Yes.
Wednesdays and Fridays, Caleb does gaming.
Yeah, I'm playing Hades right now.
And then Thursdays, I do gaming, which at the moment is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.